You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Sabres Zone.
Hi, good evening everybody. Welcome to the Sabres Zone, the video on the channel if you're new here that discusses what one of you had to say. So I've got a clip, pretty easy one to pick out to talk about. So here we go. And shout out goes to Heart of Texas. And Heart of Texas says, we should ask the Blue Jackets if they have another player to give us. That was good, Heart of Texas. Yeah, I seen that. I cracked up right away. I'm still giggling about it. Look, I don't want to get overconfident with this Robinson thing, okay? But it's really working out. It's working out more than fine. You know, like if this guy would come over here and get 30 points in a full season, I think we'd all be thrilled with that. That's fair to say, right? 14 goals, 16 assists, fourth line plug guy that hits. Like, I think we'd all be happy with that. I think this guy can do that. This guy finds his way every single shift, it feels like, to the front of the net. He finds his way right to the front, right? Here's the goalie, and I'm Robinson. Like, he finds himself. This guy's doing it. He's doing it so far, guys. And look, it's not always going to work out this way, as I said in the last video. I believe I said that, right? It's not always going to work out perfectly. It won't always work out perfect, but this seems to be a perfect fit so far, and I don't think it's gonna just fade away. I think this guy's hungry to do more. I think he has more in him to give. From what I can tell, the guy is pretty fearless out there too, which I like. I like that about this guy. So we got to keep this thing going with this guy. And yeah, like you know, look, there's guys in the league that sometimes, folks, they find a home, and we can't get angry. We just can't get angry. We can't get angry if somebody leaves the Sabres and goals like Montour. What he's doing now with, let's say, Florida, it showed that he was maybe worth the first rounder we gave up. What he's doing with Florida, not with us, with Florida. And I liked his leadership, I remember, when we first got him, but he just didn't seem to be the right fit. It just didn't seem to be the right fit. And he's over there doing his thing, and he's doing good over there. So it's sometimes, and he's a high-profile name. It's different. Robinson's just a fourth-line guy, but it's something that when you get the right fit, and I'm talking the right fit, you just know that this guy might be a Sabre. You just know automatically. There's certain players that have played on certain teams over the years. I think of Guerin on Boston when Boston lost him. Guerin was a perfect Boston Bruin at the time, and the Bruins lost him, remember? And he pretty much did good everywhere he went, but Guerin was like kind of like that guy that fits in perfect on the Bruins. I knew when the Bruins got Taylor Hall, they got a dud. I knew it. And I'm not wrong about Taylor Hall. He's lazy. And he's uninterested in playing the 200-foot game, this guy. He just is. He's a high-profile name, and he's going to cash in on that the rest of his career. He's happy with that. Where a guy like this maybe has a chip on his shoulder, folks, and maybe he has something to prove, you know? For let's say the Sabre fans that was making fun of the trade, maybe it's guys like you that he wants to prove wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is good. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You know, we want guys over here that have chips on their shoulder too, with something to prove. And so far, this is a perfect fit in Buffalo, this guy. So far, you know, and do I think he'll simmer down? Yes, of course. I don't think he's going to be an 80-point guy. But I will say this, but what if he is? What if he's peaking out? What if his career... Don't forget, he's coming into his prime years, right? He's in his late 20s. He's coming into his prime years. What if his prime years are really good years that we might get from this guy? You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, we kind of just got him for nothing. And, it's not something I'm banking on, but at the same time, it's possible. Look what Tage Thompson turned into. Do you guys remember how frustrated you were with Tage Thompson when we first got him? I remember how frustrated I was. I'm not going to pretend that I thought Tage was this superstar when we got him. Not at all. I couldn't understand the love affair that Kruger had with this guy, putting him on the first line. It was driving me nuts, I remember back then. But you know what? Kruger was right. He seen something in him. He just didn't know how to get it out of him like Granato did. Granato figured put him on center. And all of a sudden, everything fell into place. Maybe that's what'll happen with this guy. He'll just click with Krebs. Maybe click with Okposo. Maybe they'll just click together perfectly. And Girgensons, we can fit somewhere. It doesn't really matter. We can fit him anywhere. He's never going to be more than what he is, which is a hard-working guy that we drafted way too high, really. That's a third rounder that we drafted in the first round is what that is. But it doesn't matter because we know what he's about now. It's way too far in his career for this guy to completely explode. But I'm thinking with Robinson, maybe, we got maybe a 20-goal guy, maybe. And I'm not putting it too high, the standard, 20 goals. 20 goals in this day and age is possible with anybody that gives 100%. And I think that this guy, from what I've seen night after night after night so far, has given us 100%. He's out there, he's hustling, and he doesn't mind to get his nose dirty in the corners. He's not scared. I love this so far, what he's bringing. So far, so good, guys, is what I'm saying with this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I think he's going to be a 30-goal man. That's really a stretch. But what if he is? What if it happens? Anything can happen in hockey. I've learned that the hard way. Tage Thompson, did you guys really think once upon a time we had a 47-goal guy with Tage Thompson, who easily should have got 50 last year, folks? Let's be honest here. He should have got 50 easy last year if he would have stayed healthy. He would have got 60. With Tage, we got something special. And this year, I think Tage is just, I won't say lost a step. He's lost a bit of his edge so far. But again, the league is adjusting to this massive talent all of a sudden. This guy just became a beast out of nowhere. And what he was, he will be again. The great players always find a way to be great again, no matter how much the league adjusts to them. The great players always find a way to be great again. It's just in them. It's just in them, and I think Tage is one of those guys. So I'm not too worried about Tage Thompson hitting like 40 goals if he stays healthy. So this guy here, if we can get 15 to 20 goals, what a gem of a pickup. Folks, what a gem of a pickup. If we can get 15 to 20 out of this guy, wow. Adams just added 20 goals where we didn't have it, really. And that line, all of a sudden, guys, you seen yesterday, it was buzzing out there. It was buzzing like, I don't think I've ever seen the fourth line under Granato look that good as yesterday. Yesterday, it was special to watch. They looked like the first line of the team yesterday. They were that dominant. They were out there, and they didn't take one shift off, if you remember. They did not take one shift off in that game. Every time they were out there, it felt like something was going to happen. And this, for me, guys, is special. It's a special, I guess, trade. We're going, who cares? We give up a 7th rounder to get something like this. I'm totally good with it. And I'm not thinking it's going to be a difference changer for the whole team, but it sure as hell can spread. If we can get this guy going, what's going to happen when Cousins explodes and Tage finds his goal scoring again and all this happens? What happens then? I think there's a lot of life in this team this year. And if Granato's as good a coach as many of you think he is, he'll find a way to get it out of these guys. He will find a way. But I'm adamant he will not find a way to get this team winning if we don't play a physical type hockey and the transition game and a tight defensive game all together. We have to find a way to do that because you can't just pass in your own zone. You guys seen it yesterday. It was driving me nuts. Now, who was it that turned the puck over at the blue line? I can't remember. All I know is I was so mad because there was no reason for it. They got a goal from the play, and it was, who was it at the blue line? I can't remember. I just don't. It doesn't ring in my head for some reason. I might remember later. But when you have the puck and you're this close to the blue line where you can just touch it with your stick, get that damn puck on the other side, please. Stop trying to pass it over here and turning it over and into a goal. No, don't do those things. There's a lot of growing up to do, obviously, with this team, guys. There is. You know, but it feels good. Something feels right all of a sudden. It feels right. It feels like we're moving in the right direction, even though we're not yet. It feels like the team's headed in the right direction. That's just kind of how I feel. It feels like something's coming. And, you know, sometimes you get a spark. And maybe Robinson can be that spark to just kind of spread throughout the lineup. And I'm hoping like his physical play doesn't hurt under Granato. And maybe some of the guys see that and you know, and throw an extra hit or two each night. And make this guy happy if it happened. All right, guys, done for this one. So I hope most of you are happy with this pickup because so far it's working out pretty good in my books. I don't think it could work out any better so far. See you in the next one.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to ensure Dimension access.